Philip Schofield slams Strictly decision to replace Bruno Cialioni with Anton de Beck.
Tennis star Rafael Nadal goes shirtless as he enjoys downtime on his lavish yacht in Ibiza amid tennis break. Julia Roberts shows off her curves in a rust-coloured jumpsuit while leaving a business meeting in Los Angeles.
Tipping Point viewers amazed by really tall blonde contestants' height. Hello and welcome to Barely Contained, the celebrity journalism podcast that's endured 42 episodes of hurt, but it's never stopped us dreaming. I'm Matt Withers, and I'm once again joined by Chris Beckett to run a VAR check on some of the most contentious showbiz reportage of the past couple of weeks, including Philip Schofield's Strictly Slam, Rafael Nadal's shirtless downtime, Julia Roberts' multiwatt smile, and a really tall tipping point contestant. Let's kick off. Chris Beckett, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Matt. How are you? And more importantly, is it coming home?
It's home, Chris. It's home and the door is locked. It's not going
Right.
back outside. It's
Fair, that's good. That's good. Just wanted to be sure.
Right. Would you be interested in a story about Philip Schofield?
Would I?
Would you?
Yeah.
Well, this is by Jen Thomas for the Daily Star Online, and it's headlined, Philip Schofield slams Strictly decision to replace Bruno Cialioni with Anton de Beck.
Okay.
I've always thought Schofield was a fairly placid individual. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I wouldn't really put him up for this kind of level of aggressive chat.
Yeah, it's certainly, well, from the headline, it sounds like incendiary conduct from the former broom-covered man. But let's have a look. It goes on. Craig Revel Horwood appeared on This Morning to talk about the masked dancer and the news that Anton de Beck will be replacing Bruno Cialioni as a judge. But Philip Schofield didn't seem to think it's a good idea.
Now, Matt, have we peaked too early with this one? I mean, I don't know where we're going to go after this.
No, it's all downhill after this this level of story. Many Strictly Come Dancing fans are thrilled at the news that Anton de Beck is to replace Bruno Cialioni as a judge on the show, but Philip Schofield questioned the choice. Fellow judge Craig Revel Horwood appeared on This Morning to talk about the news, saying he is over the moon and absolutely delighted for Anton, talking very much like a footballer in a post-match interview. He said the decision was made as it is too risky for Bruno to travel to the UK to film the show due to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic.
That seems fair.
Yeah, it's fair enough. You know, we've all got a cross to bear in this crisis. But, you know, let's see what Philip Schofield's got to say. Craig said he had been discussing the decision with Bruno when they were filming a road trip together. We were talking about whether he is going to fly backwards and forwards. And no, of course he can't. It's just too risky, I think, at the moment, he said. It'd be very risky to fly backwards.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, you have to... I'd say forwards is always best.
Forwards, for me, is the classic mode of flight.
Anything else is a little bit fancy, Dan.
Phil asked when the new series of Strictly is due to start, and Craig said at the end of September. So surely the travel will be sort of back to normal by then, protested Phil.
I mean, this is like the daily briefing all over again. I mean, what's on the green list? What's on the amber list? Tonioli, de Beck. I mean, come on.
I have to say, it says, so surely the travel will be sort of back to normal by then, protested Phil. I would say asked Phil might be more accurate way of stating his manner of speech there. It's not like he's walking up and down the studio with flags protesting against the decision. Like
we weren't there. We didn't know that. I bet the tension in the studio was palpable.
Cut it with a knife. Craig insisted, well, you say that, but will it? It's still risky whether we wear masks or not. Phil fought back again. Saying, it seems early to make that decision. As Craig disagreed. It had to be made in order to get the show on the road. You have to make decisions in advance when it's so up in the air.
Yeah, just get off his case, Schofield, for God's sake.
It's a massive overreaction by Schofield here. One can only assume that he's having a very bad day.
Do you think it's, there's more to this? Is this the kind of, dancing on ice Strictly wars being played out on the This Morning sofa?
Oh, I hadn't put it like that. Yeah, of course, Schofield's got an agenda here, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. He wants to hobble. He wants to hobble Strictly.
I've seen I, Tonya. Now, Schofield's not the sort of man, to take a hammer to somebody's knee, but he might publicly question the decision to replace a judge.
Metaphorically, he is taking a hammer.
He's metaphorically absolutely kneecap the show here. It's where you're juggling, There was a lot of juggling on Strictly last year, added Craig.
Well, it was just dancing.
Yeah, it was mainly dancing, I'd say. But if you can juggle as well, then that's got to be worth an extra point.
Exactly.
I think the best sort of possible solution, Bruno's not definitely out in that way. He may come back next year. Teased Craig.
What a tease.
What an absolute flirt. He did say he thought it was about time that Anton was made judge and praised his abilities. Craig also admitted he missed being booed last year on Strictly thanks to COVID restrictions. This morning there's weekdays at 10 a.m. on ITV.
Well, I can see Craig's point. I can see Philip Schofield's point. It's all I can say is it's nice to see that Dubek has kind of, come through the ranks at the academy and now possibly, getting his coaching license. He's going to become a judge.
Yeah, it's good to see. And Schofield, just leave it, mate. We've seen through your agenda.
Yeah.
Chris, I believe it's currently Wimbledon going on. You're the tennis fan amongst us, and I think you've got a story about Rafael Nadal, who I believe is a practitioner of said sport.
Well, he is, and you can tell that this is a really great story to focus on someone who's not actually playing at Wimbledon. Tennis star Rafael Nadal goes shirtless as he enjoys downtime on his lavish yacht in Ibiza amid tennis break. This is by Owen Tonks from the Mail Online.
Tonks sounds like it could be a sort of tennis move.
Or it could be a plucky Brit wild card that gets knocked out in qualifying.
Yeah.
He's used to working up a sweat on the tennis court. But Rafael Nadal, 35, was hot and bothered for a very different reason as he sunned himself on his yacht in Ibiza on Friday.
Was he hot because it was hot?
I suspect so, but let's see. The Spanish sportsman is holidaying on the island with friends, and he displayed some very noticeable tan lines as he relaxed in a pair of pink and white swimming shorts on the boat. That's pretty much the opposite of hot and bothered, isn't it? He doesn't seem like he has much of a care in the world.
He looks like he's having a whale of a time.
Rafael could be seen holding a hose out in front of him as he sprayed water into a container on the deck. It's like carry-on vibes to that sentence. Rafael's thick brown hair took on a messy appearance as he took the day to lounge about and enjoy some rest and relaxation.
Oh, so is he hot and bothered, or is he lounging about and enjoying some rest and relaxation?
I think he is very much chilled. The tennis pro looked relaxed as he stared off into the distance while perched at the back of his lavish vessel.
Yeah, his lavish vessel.
Earlier this month, Rafael announced he would not be taking part in Wimbledon or the Tokyo Olympics this year. The sports star said he made the decision to rest his body so he could continue playing his much-loved game to the best of his ability in the future.
His much-loved game.
Now, I don't want to cast aspersions on Owen Tonks here, but my inkling is that he doesn't know that much about tennis.
No, I'm guessing that he is not part of the sports team.
The plucky racket holder. He wrote on Instagram, "I have decided not to participate in the next edition of Wimbledon that will be held from June the 28th to July the 11th, nor will I play in the Olympic Games finally scheduled for July the 24th to 30th. It is a decision that is never easy to make, and after listening to my body and talking to my team, I understand that it's the right decision in order to extend my sports career and continue doing what makes me happy. Now, I could read out the next 4 or 5 paragraphs, but what you'll see is that Tonks here has displayed great athleticism of his own in managing to do a little sidestep over to the control key, hit C before a neat little split over to hit V.
Yeah, it is essentially what Nadal's travel arrangements would be were he to be playing in these 2 tournaments, which he's not.
No. But, vamos.
Right, Chris, I think we're gonna stay with you for this one. I think you're talking about Julia Roberts.
I am indeed. And this is by Dan Hetching for thedailymail.com. Julia Roberts shows off her curves in a rust-coloured jumpsuit while leaving a business meeting in Los Angeles. She is a member of Hollywood's A-list and is regularly spotted thanks to her tall stature and multiwatt smile.
What does that mean?
Well, I believe the word that Dan might be looking for is megawatts.
Yes.
unless it's a bit of a burn.
I mean, what is a multi? It's not a multi. Well, you don't get a multi-watt bulb, do you? If I go down to the shop and ask for a replacement bulb, and he says what wattage, I don't say a bit of everything. Just whack a bit of everything in that bulb.
I feel it's like a bit of a diss, like Julia Roberts perhaps suggesting her star is dimmed. She used to have a megawatt smile. Now she only radiates enough for kind of an eco bulb level.
Yeah, it could be. Or it could be that Dan Hetching isn't very good at writing.
Oof.
I mean, it could be.
Let's see. You might be eating your words. But Julia Roberts managed to blend in somewhat on Friday, in spite of the fact that she was wearing an orange jumpsuit while leaving a business meeting in Los Angeles, California. Makes her sound like she's leaving a state penitentiary.
She does look a bit like she's leaving a state penitentiary.
The Oscar winner, 53, covered up her famous visage with a multicolored face mask along with a pair of pale pink Wayfarer sunglasses.
It's awful when you've used the word face in face mask and thus you can't use it again, so you have to write about her famous visage.
Yes, exactly. Fading to grey. She had her blonde hair affixed to the back of her head with the help of a clip.
Practical.
Yes. Julia shouldered a large black bag and held another white parcel under her arm, along with a black glasses case.
Admirable level of detail.
Yes, exactly. Her jumpsuit was open at the collar, revealing a peek of her bare collarbone.
I loves me some collarbone.
Just a peek, though.
Yeah.
not the rest for you.
No, it'd be too much. I'm like a Victorian gentleman. I like a little peek of collarbone, but not too much. It's like staring at the sun.
It's all about the suggestion, and then back to your chambers and get your sketchbook out. Robert's jumpsuit ended at her mid-calf. The Erin Brockovich star was spotted alongside her bodyguard, while husband Danny Moder was not far away running errands in the area.
Running errands? What does that mean? It makes it sound like when you're a kid and your mum just the spare stamp sends you off to go and post all the Christmas cards for your friends' doors.
Yes, exactly. Make sure you pick up some batteries from Robert Dias. The pair, who have been married since 2002, share 3 children. Their twins, Hazel and Phineas, were born in 2004 and are now 16 years of age.
Yep, that's mathematically correct.
Robert then gave birth to a younger son, Henry, now 14 in 2007.
That story all
good
holds
that we know
together.
that he was younger.
Yeah.
Just recently, cinematographer Moder gave a rare peek into the family's home life when he shared a video of Henry skateboarding on Instagram. Moder, 52, filmed the team skateboarding on the occasion of his 14th birthday earlier this month. Danny shared the video to his Instagram account, which showed the teen impressively skating up a ramp and turning in midair. Recently, Julia and her family have been seen down under in Australia, where she is slated to film 2 big budget movies later this year. One of the projects is a political thriller called Gaslit, centred on the infamous Watergate scandal, with Academy Award winner Sean Penn and Australia's own Joel Edgerton.
It's a good rule of thumb that you, if something is famous or infamous, you don't need to say that it's famous or infamous.
Yeah.
I think
I'd say Watergate pretty much stands alone.
It's stood the test of time, hasn't it?
She will also reunite with Ocean's 11 co-star George Clooney to film the romantic comedy Ticket to Paradise, which will begin filming in Queensland later in the year. Well, Matt, I think you might owe Dan Hetching an apology there, because I think he rallied.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dan. That was a terrific bit of work. Finally, Chris, I want to return to the Daily Star Online and Siobhan Watson, or Siobhan Watson. You say tomato, I say tomato. And it's headlined, Tipping Point viewers amazed by really tall blonde contestants' height.
Oof. This sounds like a good one.
Yep. It begins. A blonde contestant named Jo appeared on Thursday afternoon's episode of Tipping Point, but fans were amazed and quite distracted by how tall she was compared to other players on the show.
Well, I don't quite know what to say about that.
I mean, that is pretty much it. That is pretty much the story. But I can't leave you on that. So let's plow on and see how Shivon manages to pull another 300 words out of this. Tipping Point viewers were rather distracted on Thursday after a very tall contestant appeared on the quizzing program.
The quizzing program.
The quizzing program. I just say quiz. Just quiz.
What is this quizzing program?
This quizzing program of what you speak? What format does it take? A player named Jo was hoping to win the jackpot prize, but despite having a winning personality...
Comment.
Yeah, that is a comment, isn't it? Stick to the facts. Despite having a winning personality, several viewers at home were more amazed she was taller than all the other players on the show.
Wow. This would never happen in North Korea.
Taking to Twitter, viewers aired their thoughts on the tall contestant. One viewer questioned, is Jo really tall, or are they all just really short? Another said, Jo is 8'2". While a third inquisitive viewer said, I'd love to know how tall Jo is. I'm quite tall, but she looks like she'd tower over me.
I mean, what really they need to do somehow is find a way that you can kind of virtually go back to back with these contestants and do the old, hand across the top of the head trick.
Yeah, that's the future. That's the future of quizzing programs.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, augmented reality Tipping Point. That's what we're all going to be doing in 10 years' time.
The first thing I want to do is measure myself up against contestants on Tipping Point.
Yeah, when our robot overlords finally take over, that's going to be pretty high on my list. Although Jo's height appeared to excite viewers, her general knowledge certainly didn't. When faced with a barrage of questions from host Ben Shepherd, Jo couldn't answer any correctly. Jo claimed to know the answers, but they just wouldn't come out.
Ah, that old chestnut. It's making Ben Shepherd sound like some sort of Paxman-esque interviewer.
Yeah. How tall are you?
Tell me.
Viewers at home took to Twitter again to comment on Jo's performance. One fan penned. We've mentioned this before. Yeah. One fan penned, OMG. Good thing you're tall, Jo. That'd be the only thing you got going for you.
A pirate writes.
Aha, Jo lad. That'd be the only thing you got going for you. Quite why I assume that all pirates are from the West Country. I don't know.
I wasn't sure where that pirate was, but you know.
It was a kind of Wurzel's pirate. Referring to one of her questions, another viewer chimed. Poor Joe had a mare there, but she should have gotten the spider one. I mean, when you hear 8-legged arachnids, it's the first thing you think of. Open brackets, second being scorpion.
I mean, when you hear 8-legged arachnids, I mean, spider would be the first choice. She's tall.
Is a scorpion an arachnid?
I don't know. I mean, it certainly wouldn't be the second thing. I don't think there would be a second thing that came to my mind.
If Ben Shepherd was to corner you and demand both your first and second things you think of upon hearing 8-legged arachnids, I'd struggle to think of my my B choice.
I'd probably just give him my height and see if I can fob him off.
While a third said, "So many damn passes. Is your head in the clouds, Joe?"
Yeah. Mean.
Unfortunately, Joe didn't manage to gain any more counters from the machine after her round and was sent home.
In disgrace.
In absolute disgrace. Hang your head in shame, Joe, and also to get under that door. The last man standing on Thursday's programme was a contestant.
Not as tall as Joe.
No, he was not. He was, if anything, shorter.
Yeah.
Was a contestant named Taz, who seemed to do very well.
Sounds like a bit of a devil.
But viewers at home felt he was slowing things down with his constant chat between questions.
I think that's just good tipping point play. You want to control the game.
Yeah.
Make Shepherd play at your tempo.
Absolutely. You know, that's a sort of quizzing show it is. One viewer penned, "Get on with it." In the end, Taz ended up leaving the show with £2,200 in his pocket, but refused to go for the jackpot prize. And by the looks of it, it was good that he didn't. So,
comment.
Do they literally give the contestants £2,200 in cash to put it in their pocket? Because if so, I think that basically Tipping Point is a money laundering operation.
Not a quizzing show. Blatant, but sometimes, those are the best schemes. Right under your nose.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got cash to launder, why not do it under the auspices of running a so-called quizzing show?
Yeah, we're on to you, Shepherd.
Tipping Point airs weekdays on ITV at 4 p.m. Well, Chris, I think that's pretty much it for another fortnight's Barely Contained. How was it for you?
Yeah, it was. It was a game of two halves, but I thought we gave a very professional team performance. I mean, you can only comment on the stories that are put in front of you, we'll keep going. We've got more stories to come, and I think we can do a good job.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree wholesale with your assessment. Chris, if people wish to engage with the Barely Contained brand on the internet, which direction would you point them in?
I would first say, go to Twitter, go to barely_pod. You'll definitely find us there, and we'll be pleased as punch to hear any comments, any feedback, even the odd retweet or two would be lovely. And also on Facebook, if you go to Barely Contain the podcast, you'll find all our shows, bit of extra content, some videos and clips. Yeah, go there too.
And it would be just splendid were you to go to your podcatcher of choice, whether that be Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, whatever floats your boat, and give us a little review, a couple of sentences. 5 stars would be splenderoony. And you can subscribe there too.
Yes, indeed. Please subscribe.
Okay, well, we'll see you very soon. Chris, we shall speak again in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, we shall, Matt. It's been a pleasure. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.